By in our national newsroom, CTV's Scott Hurst, who's got the numbers, crunching them. Widely anticipated move, my friend. What more are we learning here?
Yeah, widely anticipated, as you mentioned, but let's focus on that first big number, 2.5%, down 25 basis points from 2.75%, where it has stood since March. There have been 3 decisions where the Bank of Canada kept it at 2.75%. And so what we're hearing from Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem, that this time around, there was clear consensus to cut the rate. The first time in several months, as we mentioned, the first time the rate has changed since March. And here is what we learned in terms of tipping the balance was a clear sense. The balance of the risk was shifting as we're looking at the interest rate decisions over the last several months. And you see there that it was March, the last time that this had changed from January to March. And so what we heard from the Bank of Canada is that there was 3 developments that have shifted the risk over the past several months while it kept the interest rate at 2.75%. Firstly, Canada's labor market has softened further, with the unemployment rate going up to more than 7%. Secondly, upward pressure on underlying inflation has diminished, and the removal of retaliatory tariffs against the U.S., there's less risk to future inflation. Here's more from the Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem.
At this point, inflationary pressures look a little more contained, and against that background and the background of a weakening economy that will put additional downward pressure on inflation, that tipped the balance of risks in favor of cutting our policy rate today. But we are proceeding carefully. We are going to be balancing those risks, and we don't want Canadians to have to worry about big increases in the cost of living.
So, Todd, specifically to the point about the labor market, it has been impacted severely, a significant hit on industries particularly affected by tariffs. We talk about steel and aluminum and the auto industry, but also, according to the Bank of Canada governor, employment growth in other parts of the economy have also slowed as businesses have scaled back their hiring plans amidst so much uncertainty at the global economic scale, let alone within our own country as well, Todd.
Hey, what does it mean for everyday Canadians, Scott?
Yeah, so ultimately, of course, a lowering of the rate will help ease borrowing very specifically and most immediately on variable rate mortgages as growth is lagging and job losses are adding up. There's a whole lot of uncertainty. And as we heard from the Bank of Canada, they will continue to proceed with caution and really focus on a shorter horizon than the usual long-term economic outlook because of the uncertainty, because of the unpredictability, and really the global reshuffling of the world economy. The central bank saying it will allow it to be much more ready to respond to future changes and not locked into some long-term outlook that could change at a moment's notice. Of course, economic policy from the U.S. could change at a moment's notice, or our ongoing trade war with the U.S., Todd, we all know, could change at a moment's notice because of the unpredictability coming out of the White House. So, of course, the big storyline today, the key interest rate dropping to 2.5% from 2.75%. So ease for borrowing for consumers and businesses, but really a lot of uncertainty going forward as the Bank of Canada is trying to make sure it can be flexible to change where the economy might go and where we might continue to face off against the White House.
Yeah, and whether there are more cuts coming, I guess, Scott, or not, right?
Yeah, potentially. One of the reasons why they're focusing on this short-term outlook, could more cuts be coming next month as we continue to face this lagging economy, this uncertain economic picture with all of those factors at play.
All right, CTV Scott Hurst with the latest. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Todd.